Welcome to the Antiques Roadshow. What treasures will we find in Chandler, Arizona? Probably not much. Stay tuned. Tell me how you acquired this statue.
I was working at a rummage sale a few years ago, and I found it in one of the boxes that someone had donated. Paid $5 for it.
Well, at first glance, it appears to be a Sumerian votive figure from ancient Mesopotamia, or modern-day Iraq, during the Bronze Age. Located in valleys of Tigris and Euphrates River, life in the cradle of the civilization was often focused on the gods, who were believed to dwell in special temples called ziggurats, or massive rectangular structures made of mud bricks oriented true north. As Sumerians toiled in the fields, they would leave these figures in small central shrines limited to priests. These statues embody the very essence of the worshipper so that the spirit would be present when the physical body was not. The figures themselves are carved in limestone, alabaster, and gypsum. Each figure was inscribed with a cuneiform text and had to be scaled to a hierarchy of size. Many have inlaid eyes, as you can see. And they feature, the eyes were considered to be windows to the soul. The statues feature tightly clasped hands and a gesture of attentiveness. Highly stylized beards, pleated skirts, and sidelocks characterize some male figures. It's absolutely extraordinary. Do you have any idea to what it might be worth?
No idea.
Well, conservatively speaking, I would value this sculpture somewhere between $5 and $6.
That's great news.
Lovely painting, tell me about it.
I was actually hoping maybe you could tell me something about it.
It certainly resembles the School of Athens, a famous fresco by the Italian Renaissance artist Raphael. It was commissioned by Pope Julius II in 1510 to decorate rooms in the Venetian. The work was a perfect embodiment of the spirit of high Renaissance and a masterpiece of perspective. Composition closely observed human figures and iconographic references to classical antiquity.
Very interesting.
You see, the medieval period, anything related to antiquity was considered paganistic, but in the Renaissance it became increasingly to be associated with enlightenment.
Fantastic.
Experts speculate the identities of the figures to include Socrates, Pythagoras, Eleusis, and many other learned Athenians. But the architecture's central vanishing point are two undisputed main subjects, Plato and Aristotle. His students, their hand gestures are symbolic. Plato points up to the heavens because in his philosophy revolved around divine insight. Aristotle holds his hand down because it was more grounded in reality and the empirically observable world. The School of Athens represents all the greatest mathematicians, philosophers, and scientists gathered together, sharing their ideas and learning from each other. These figures all lived at different times, but here they gathered under one roof.
Absolutely marvelous.
Unfortunately, this is not the real painting by Raphael. Most Renaissance artists were known for massive, ambitious projects sponsored by patrons. The real School of Athens measures over 20 feet tall and is set beneath an arch in the east wall of the papal chambers, now known as the Stanze di Raffaello. This is a worthless replica.
Wait, what?
What can you tell me about this vase you brought?
Well, I acquired this back in the day. It was about to be thrown away, so I took it. I have it just as something to store junk in ever since. I really have no idea of the value.
I see. Well, this is an ancient Greek bilingual ceramic amphora. Most ancient Greek pottery was made for everyday use, consisting of containers such as amphora, drinking vessels, or craters, bowls for mixing wine and water. I would date it as being sometime between 500 and 300 BC, during the High Classical period. One side of the vessel features a black figure decoration, or the silhouetting of dark figures against a light background of natural reddish clay with linear details incised. And the other side features a red figure decoration, which are painted. As you can see, the registers, or ground lines, support the subject matter, usually a mythological event. The figure is heavily stylized profile pose with a simple delineation formed by line. It has archaic features of stiff drapery, awkward poses, combined with exaggerated gestures. This bird was probably inspired by the Orientalizing period where elements from other civilizations influenced Greek art. As far as value is concerned, under ideal circumstances, a vase like this would be worth a lot of money.
Excellent.
We done?
Yeah, we're done.
When you unveiled this, I was quite taken aback. It is a very unusual piece. Can you tell me about it?
This painting has been in my family for about 100 years now. It belonged to my great-grandmother.
This is an oil-on-canvas painting by the French Romantic painter Theodore Guirault in 1819, known as the Wrath of Medusa. It depicts the aftermath of the wreck of the French naval frigate Medusa. Now, because this an uncommissioned depiction of an event from recent history, it's proved highly controversial at its first appearance in the Paris Salon due to its anti-government message. It also breaks away from the calm order of then prevailing neoclassical school, which had a strong hold on the French academies. The Wrath of Medusa followed the trend for a very large apocalyptic paintings, often combining extreme natural events or divine wrath with human disaster in order to create a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. As you can see, the painting is very dark, suggesting tragedy and pain. The work's lighting has been described as Carvagisk, after the Italian artist closely associated with tenebrism, the use of violent contrast between light and dark. The figures depicted are ordinary people, not heroes, reacting to the unfolding drama. They are constructed in two triangle compositions. The Wrath of Medusa laid the foundations of an aesthetic revolution known as Romanticism. One of the most important characteristics of the movement was the sublime or quality of greatness beyond all possibility of calculation, measurement, or imitation. The artwork is stunning, the condition is superb. As to the value, I have discussed it with a few other experts, and we think that the auction this painting would bring in is at least over $9,000.
Oh, my!
I'm glad we could help. Now take it and get it out of my sight.
Oh. Okay. Thanks for watching. I'm just some random guy. And I'll see you next time on the Antiques Roadshow, but probably not.